Okay.
Nothing to report out of closed session.
Okay, and let the record reflect that all board members of the Board of Education are in attendance. And now we will go to public comment. And there are no members here, so we have no public comment. We'll go to the first item on the agenda, and that is the first reading of initial proposal from the Board of Education to Poway School Employees Association, PSEA 2015-16.
Why don't I
Superintendent
just introduce
Collins.
it,
Okay.
if I may. Since Tracy wasn't here last time, she would normally do this. This item was tabled by the board last month. The question is whether or not any member of the board would like to lift this from the table and consider it as a first reading.
Okay. Is
Yes,
there a motion?
I move we lift it from the table.
And do we need a second on lifting
Well, let's
it?
get one anyway.
Okay.
I'll second.
All right. There is a motion to lift the initial proposal from the Board of Education to PSEA 15-16, and a motion by Board Member Sellers, seconded by Board Member Zane. Is there any discussion? Okay, seeing no discussion, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? And the motion passes unanimously.
So now the item's been lifted from the table. This is the first reading. This is the proposal from the Board of Education to PSEA, Poway School Employees Association, for the 2015-16 fiscal year. The terms are on the back side regarding our initial proposal is Article 8, Health and Welfare Benefits, and Article 14, Wages. And it's, we received their sunshine proposal at the last regular meeting. So this is the first reading, if there are any questions.
Okay.
And then this it has to come again to the next board meeting as so then, yeah, it'll come again to the next board meeting as the second reading of the district's proposal to PSEA.
Before negotiations
Yes, we will.
begin.
We can now, that we have done the first reading on this, we can schedule this for a public hearing at the April meeting.
Unless we have a special meeting before that, that would be an option also.
If there's a special meeting before then, we can do it then.
They only have a one-step process, and we have a two-step. Yeah. Because the public, because it's taxpayer dollars, we're servants of the public, we need to give them an opportunity to give them notice of a public hearing prior to the public hearing. Okay, so, yeah, the board's wanting to understand these proposals better, so I want to have a couple of questions, just real quick. And so the wages one seems sufficiently broad. It doesn't really, just to clarify, that it doesn't commit the board to specific amounts. The district will make a proposal regarding wages after its evaluation of the impact of the governor's proposed budget and its financial impact on the district. So am I correct that that's sufficiently broad? That gives us latitude to do whatever
Right.
we want.
Right, Ms. Beatty, and we do write it broadly for a variety of reasons. Obviously, we don't know what the budget looks like for the next negotiations. And typically what we do is we work on most all of our articles first before we get to wages is typically the last thing that we do through the negotiations process. So by the time we get there, we have a better idea of what might be available.
And this is their last year of a 3-year contract, is that correct?
2016 is their last year, June 2016.
So it's ending, and
Yeah,
this is
so
for,
this,
yeah, okay. It ends okay. So this will be the last, and this is just the couple of reopeners on this existing contract.
typically what we do is that the district typically brings health and welfare and wages, rarely, but sometimes do we have something else that we want to bring to the table that we need to work on. And then the units typically will bring many more things to the table that they'd like to work on. They have the ability to have health and welfare plus wages and 4 other reopeners. So depending on what we need to work on for each year is what. And then we also, with mutual agreement, if there's something else that we need to work on that we haven't, and we find that there's a need to, then we can also work on that as well, as long as we both agree, which has happened before. Like something might come up in the middle of the year. It's like, oh my gosh, the wording in this article is inaccurate. We're not negotiating it, but we need to fix the language. Then we do that.
Oh, so this does constrain us in the sense that then actually, let's say they say we want to have, 10 more library techs. We this doesn't constrain us because we've just said, well, just wages and health and welfare, or does it?
Well, it depends upon the context in which they bring it to the table, but typically something like that, Ms. Beatty, might bring it off in layoff and reduction of hours for classifications that have been laid off in the past. Bringing back positions would most likely be brought under that type of an article.
Okay. Did you want to say something?
We can mutually agree.
Yeah,
Okay.
yes,
Yeah,
we can.
Yeah.
And we have.
Okay, and the health and welfare is just accounting, basically accounting.
Every year, we sit and we get the information from Kaiser on what the prices will be, and from our other healthcare provider. Then we make adjustments to the contracts for each of the unions. This year, PSEA has some significant interest in us taking a look at how we can better serve their membership with health and welfare. And so I would imagine this year we're going to see an opportunity to really take a look in depth at the health and welfare that we provide them and see what types of things they're interested in having the board look at to improve the benefits that we provide. Not the benefit itself,
Yeah.
but for their 4-hour and their 6-hour employees. They'd like to see us
Okay.
increase the district portion of health and welfare.
Yeah, and we heard that, yeah, at the last meeting. Okay, any other discussion? Seeing none, is there a motion?
There's no action
There's no, because
required.
it's first reading. Okay, thank you.
But do note that the green sheet points out that there does have to be, quote, a reasonable amount of time given to the public before we hold the public hearing on
Okay.
this. And our attorneys have advised us that can be anything from 7 to 10 days.
Okay.
We won't have to wait till April 20th. We could hold a special to have the public hearing on this, and also the public hearing. We've also got a sunshine proposal open right now with PFT for the current school year. That could also take place at a special prior to April 20th. And just as an update, on 1415, the PSEA held their ratification vote of the tentative agreement, and I expect that can we share that?
Sure. PSEA's units ratified the tentative agreement between Poway, the district, and PSEA. And so at the next board meeting, a green sheet will come to you for you to approve the ratification of the tentative agreement.
When did that happen?
For this year.
Tuesday?
Happened today.
Yeah, I think it happened earlier this week, yeah.
So
Carl, can you turn your mic on? I'm sorry.
where are we with SCIU?
SEIU has countered the proposal that the district has offered, and we have not yet scheduled another negotiations with them, but probably we'll work on that next week, and probably in the next week or two we'll meet with them again.
If there are no other questions, we'll move on to the last agenda item of the evening, and this is agenda item C2, initial proposal from the Board of Education to the Poway Federation of Teachers 2015-16. This agenda item was tabled at the March 10th regular Board of Education meeting. Is there a motion to?
We don't need to take it
Right.
unless we
This was tabled and
Solicit a motion to see if anyone wants to pull it.
to
take
lift
off.
it from the
Lift
table.
Lift it, thank you, lift it from the table. Okay, is there a motion to lift this initial proposal from the table?
Seeing none, then that would mean that this item now dies
Okay.
and is no longer a active agenda item.
Okay. Do I need to repeat that or just what he said? So- Okay, and that is it. So seeing no further business, is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Okay, adjourn.